All right, welcome to the KetoMom page. Here's the thought for the day.
Thought for the day.
Too many goals drown in the sea of good intentions. Ooh, that's good. That's good. All right.
Sea of intention.
Yes. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? We are diving into the Chazown book, and we are diving into action. He's actually going to give you, we're going to talk about the spokes of your life. We're just getting to that point where we're starting to help you understand all of the different areas in your life that will help you move forward towards your goal, towards your Chazown, towards your calling.
I like it.
I know. This is an exciting part. I feel like we had to work up to this part.
It's for this moment right here.
Yes. So as you're tuning in, where are you tuning in from? It is a lovely day here in Minnesota. We have baby birds or baby geese.
Yep.
2 sets of families right outside our window. And it's just a nice day. It's super
That's what
calm.
They keep doing. They just keep swimming.
It's super calm. So I would love to know where you're tuning in from. If you're brand new, you can post new below, or just know that every morning is going to be focused on your mindset. Every part of the day, you'll get everything else that you need as far as keto recipes and all of those things. You can go to ketomomsecrets.com, but we're going to dive into this book. Did you want to say something?
No, I was just going to ask if you're enjoying this.
Yeah.
We'd love to know, what are some of your biggest takeaways so far? What are some of the things
This
that this has kind of helped you? I mean, just to this point.
Good, but
I think it's all been good, but up to this point, what have been some distinctions that you've had? What are some things that you've taken away? I'd love to see that in the comment. And then I'm excited because today we're going to talk about your next step, what that looks like.
So he gives an example right away in the morning, and he says a professional athlete wanting to stay in shape says that walking through the front doors of the gym is the hardest part. As soon as you get through the doors,
then the magic happens.
So it says it's time to get to the gym. He says do whatever it is that you need to do that is your next step. So we're going to talk about different areas of your life, different spokes of your life, and just taking that next step in whatever it is. So he's going to give us a visual of a wheel.
Okay, I'm ready. A wheel.
So before we get there, but he talks about, is that Lance Armstrong?
Well, what about it?
Well, he just talks about him and being, he gives a biker, and then he talks about his own biking experience. And he says, your life is kind of like a wheel. And so it's got different spokes, and you've got your relationship spokes. You've got your spiritual spokes. He says your relationship with God. You have your physical spoke, your health. You have your, he says, work spoke. We haven't talked about that one. And there's, finances, your financial spoke. And if one of the spokes is broken, it affects the rest of your life. You need to scoot over so you can see the rest of your face because you can only see half of it. So that's what we're diving into. It says your goals will begin to sink each day if you don't take action. They don't just happen. You've got to take action on them. Right? It says too many goals drown in the sea of intention. I love that because if there's no action, and you're watching and you're learning and you're gathering all the information, good intention isn't enough.
I know.
Right?
It's hitting me in the heart today.
It's hitting him.
I was also thinking about Lance Armstrong, too, because the reality is he was like an American hero, and then they found out that he was cheating.
Then he fell.
Well, he cheated.
Well, he was just, maybe that was, this book was written years ago.
He had good intentions.
Okay, well, he gave the idea of the biker.
Yeah.
And this book was written, I think, before that happened.
So this is good. So with all of this, so what area are we focusing on? A certain part of the wheel?
So
today?
actually, we're just
wheel?
talking about the wheel in general.
I think
so. I'm going to show them.
Though. Those questions are powerful.
You want to ask them?
The goal you will move towards is. So we've been talking a lot about like your vision and your purpose for your life, but if you look at this from a short-term goal perspective, because so often it's kind of funny, like we're working with a friend. Oh, look we got more dirt. This is great. I'm going to have a very busy day.
We are getting dirt
there
at our
will be
house.
Some tractor stories
Lots
today.
Of dirt.
But so often we think about the big picture, but we don't always break it down to the little short-term goals. So I like that. So like what Stephanie said, professional athlete, the success is getting to the front of the door. Like get through the front door. Once you take those small steps, then it's like, all right, well, I'm here. I might as well just finish what I started.
Yep.
But what would be one short-term goal that you're going to move towards today? Then the second question is the very next step you're going to take to accomplish your goal. what is that going to be?
Yep.
So you have to write it down. You have to identify it. What are the steps you're going to take? And then how are you going to actually accomplish this? So some of you may have good intentions, but if your time is so busy, we all have 24 hours, what are you going to do to make sure that you can actually accomplish that goal?
Yeah.
And then this is the biggest part, is when are you going to actually accomplish that goal? Because so often the big part with setting goals is that it all sounds great, but we never put a date to actually complete that project or to complete that task. So I think that's the biggest part of it, is putting a date to it. Because it's kind of like saying, I'm going to go move that dirt, because it's going to be great, because we're going to build some land and someday our daughters will be able to get a horse. That sounds great, but when am I going to move that dirt? I'm going to move that dirt today.
Today. All right, so we're diving into the 5 spokes of Chazown, where you need to succeed small so that you can succeed big. So I'm going to show you a great really picture. A great really picture. Chazown means the dream, the revelation, or a vision. This is what we've been working through right here. So we already talked about core values, spiritual gifts, all of your past experiences. He says your Chazown is right in the middle. He gives you a whole bunch of questions. He says things like, what are you called to do, right? What is deep in your heart that you really want to go after? What is your calling? Going after goals, looking at certain things. He says, but now it's time to take action. Once you have your goal clearly in mind, there's only one thing left. Take the very next step. And so he starts speaking of the spokes. He talks about his own bicycle journey and how a spoke broke and he got stranded 20 miles from home. But he says each spoke matters. We talked about the spokes, and I'll share it with you again. When one is not in proper place, the integrity of the entire wheel is compromised, and eventually it stops working. So we have the spokes of your relationship with God, or your spiritual spoke. Your relationship with people, relationship spoke. Your financial health, your physical health, and your work life. And so some of you might be going, oh, did you want to say something?
No, you're doing great.
Where there is no, so right now in the next chapter, we'll do this tomorrow. He's going to talk first about your spoke, your spiritual spoke. And he says, where there is no vision to follow Jesus fully, good dreams perish. So here's what it looks like. This is what we're talking about, just to give you a visual, right? And oftentimes you might, if you come here in the morning and you've never been on a morning mindset live, or I feel like this is an intentional live to help you realize that your health and fitness is more than just, okay, like your success in life. You might be going, if I lose the weight, I will be happy. Mm-hmm. If I lose that weight, or if I get stronger, or if I look a certain way, then everything else will fall into place. Maybe if you have your relationships already in set, like if your relationships are going well, if financially you're doing well, if your spiritual life is going well, if all of the other spokes are going well and it's just your health, then yes, it will help fix the wheel. But if you're here and you're like, if I just lose the weight, it will make me happy, but your relationships aren't going well, work life isn't going well, financially, there's more than, I need you to understand that your health in general, or your Chazown, or the things you're going at in life, is more than just fat loss.
It's so true. But that's the other thing too, is maybe some of you are sitting in a spot where you're like, I'm just overwhelmed by
all of it,
just a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
What we really have to do is just identify what are the next steps. Just the simple next steps. Like, what can I do today to just get a little better? Like, where can I improve in one of these areas? And then over time, you start building on that momentum. You start building on those habits. And overall, like, your relationship God can improve. Your relationship at work can improve. Your relationship in your health and your finances can improve. And then when you're feeling better, more than likely, the people that you're around, your relationships will improve. They will improve
by making small little changes, like getting up in the morning and being mindful and either reading or working on your personal relationships, right? Spiritually, he's going to talk about that first tomorrow. And then you dive into relationships. And then, like, if you're working on yourself, and let's say you feel better and you feel stronger and you are working towards your own physical spoke, you will feel better. Therefore, you'll treat people better. You'll make better decisions. So all of them kind of work together simultaneously if you're making small decisions every day that are working towards your better.
Is this making sense? I hope this is resonating.
I will tell you this. If you really want this to work, or if you really want to understand this, get the book. Because it's a great visual. I'm a visual learner, so I like to have a book in my hands. I like to underline. I like to circle. I like to see the things. I love to listen to an audiobook. I'm listening to one right now about meditation and mindfulness. But I'm like, I need the book. Okay, I need the book.
I hear what you're saying. I need to order the
I'm
book.
listening to it, and I want to go back, and then I rewind, and I physically like to see the book. If it doesn't help you, not a big deal. But if you're like, I actually need to work on this in my life, I would encourage you to get the book.
It's funny. I'm almost wondering if I can reach.
Each of these fundamentals must be in order for you to finish the race as you pursue living out your Chazown for God.
That was a stretch.
Is this our old one?
Well, I think so. I saw it peeking up back there. I wanted to see.
You guys, this is the first one we went to. When was this?
2004.
This is the first Chazown book, isn't it?
Well, it was called Life Development Plan. This thing's barely held together right now.
This is the first book. I didn't know we had that.
Yeah,
I was wondering where
yours.
it was.
I haven't been able to find mine yet, but this was yours.
But it's exactly. I'm gonna have to look through it and look at what I wrote down. Okay, so here's what he said.
Some secrets in
You
here.
surrender your life to God and His Chazown for you. He said, here's like an equation.
Look at all these highlights.
Number 2, you take care of your fundamentals. You take care of the spokes. Number 3, you establish goals. Then you take the next step. You live with proper accountability. Your God-given destiny will take care of itself as you work through these small steps. So,
I think you're gonna like this.
I think I'm gonna like it too.
Pretty cool. I saw that popping up back there, and I thought I should grab it.
The purpose of any plan is success. Success is determined by your day-to-day decisions on the way on working on your Chazown. So this is what we're working on right now. This little visual. You can write it out for yourself. You can take a screenshot. You can just know that that's what we're going to do. And you might want to write your own little spoke circle, and really rate yourself from 1 to 10 where you're at in each of these areas. Just to be mindful right now, without even reading the next chapters, you could go, all right, where is my spiritual life? 1 through 10. 10, like I'm doing amazing. 1, no clue, right? Your relationships with people, finances, your health, and your work. If you were to draw your own little spoke and just give you a rating, it'll help you look at the areas you need to work on.
I think that's it. I'm having a hard time focusing today.
Why?
I really am.
I know, I kind of feel that. Normally you're like, yeah.
Because I have so much stuff that I want to do today.
Oh.
And it's just one of those days. Have you ever had one of those days? So here's what I'm thankful for. I am thankful that you are super consistent with these lives. You know that? I'm super thankful because every day you come on here and you share a little bit of what you're learning. Like a part of me, I have to pause sometimes and remember it's important to share these types of things. Because for me, I just want to go take action.
Yeah.
I do. But you're an action person as well. And so I appreciate I saw some people gave some stars on here. So I just want to give a shout out real quick because the stars are actually pretty cool because the stars we give to a orphanage in Honduras that our family will be going to visit soon. And it's through a partnership that we have with our church. I don't see it on here, but I know someone gave stars. Thank you. I just wanted to say that.
Well, so what he does is I didn't see this part. I didn't get to this part yet. He says self-inventory in these 5 fundamentals. So if you draw yourself your little spoke wheel and you write those down, he says option number 1, you can focus on one of the 5 right away, right? Going after one action step. Or option number 2, you can work on action plans in all 5 areas. Either
so what do you
way,
think is better?
I think one at a time.
Okay.
It just depends. I want people to understand something. Let's say you look at your spokes of life and you're looking at your spiritual life, your relationships, your health, your finances, and your work life. You might be able to fix a lot of them if you focus on just one of them. It just depends. I had a friend call me like last month and everything was falling apart, right? So everything in her life she felt like was falling apart, although they have jobs, her kids are healthy, like she takes care of her physical health.
They have a house.
Like they are very blessed. And so if you just look at the spokes, I said, all right, where are you at with your relationship with God? That's what it boiled down to for her. And she said, not. Right? So I think that what you really can do is you can evaluate where each of them are at and be real, but also there's a really great, Brian says this often, don't look at things worse than they are. Right?
It's true.
I think oftentimes if one spoke or one thing in your life isn't going how you want it, you tend to look at the rest of the spokes or the rest of the areas in your life and feel like it's all falling apart. When in reality, it probably isn't.
Very true.
Right? So don't look at life or circumstances or areas in your life worse than they are. And if you, like, let's say it's physical, right? We're working on that. And once you understand that physical also means your mental part of your life, like the way you look at life and your mindset, you're going to tune in here, you're going to read, you're going to work on that, you're going to look at life when you wake up in the morning with a positive attitude. Your attitude in the morning and working on your health will affect all of your spokes in a positive way. If it's financial, then guess what? You're going to have to find some accountability to help you get your finances under control, because when you do that, it will ease up the rest of your life. If it's relationship, like, look at what you really need to look at first, and I would say work on that one. But that's why it's important to draw out your spokes, your life, and go, okay, really my relationships, I seem like I'm yelling at my kids, but why am I yelling at my kids? Because I don't feel good, right?
This is powerful.
So, or maybe it's because like I'm super stressed out about money. You're just not feeling this, are you?
You are crushing this. You are so on fire.
All right. So
let me just grab these. You're doing fantastic.
My husband is checking out. But here's what I want you to. Okay, he's listening.
You're crushing it.
Clearly he's not. I feel you guys just like moved up all in my space. Okay. Does this make sense? Like, don't look at things worse than they are and just have a really true, honest evaluation. Where am I at? Like, if you want something to work out, if you want something to get fixed, if you want to feel better in life, then you have to do the work. I had somebody message me yesterday and it's not an option. She has to get healthy. Like, she says, hands down, I'm going to lose my job. I'm stressed out. Things aren't going well at home. I have to get healthy. And I said, okay, do you want to track I feel like my nose is running. Do you want to track your food? Do you want, like, I need you to, well, no. And I was like, then you actually don't want this. Like, you don't just get to fix things. There's not like an easy way. You've got to put in the work. You've got to have a reality of like where you're truly at today. Where are you at? Where are you at in this wheel? Right? And then go, okay, I'm not going to get overwhelmed. I'm not going to get stressed out. I have a reality of things might not be going well. And why? Why are they not? Is it a financial stress? Is it truly physical that you need to work on? Because am I yelling at my kids because, like I said before, I don't feel good? Or financially, I'm so stressed out, I'm taking it out on everybody else? And then you've got to figure out your next step, right? If it's your spiritual life, maybe you need to go to find a church or find a mentor, start reading your Bible, or there's things that we're going to work through in each spoke. If it's relationships with people, right? Evaluate, maybe you aren't hanging around the right crowd. Maybe you need to find some new friends. Maybe it's new mentors. Finances, right? Find an accountability partner. Cut up those credit cards. Ask somebody to help you. Take a Dave Ramsey class. If it's your health, I hope you're asking questions here. I hope you're learning and then actually doing the next step. And that might be not going through the drive-thru, going to the gym, saying no to the pizza at the employee lounge and packing your own lunch, right? So I just need to have you have an understanding that not everything is probably falling apart. It's probably one thing that you need to fix or tweak to fix that spoke that will help others start moving. So that's what we're talking about. I hope it makes sense. The book is incredible. So we will dive more into this tomorrow. We'll start with the spiritual spoke first, and then he goes on to all the other spokes, and we'll get to the point where we're at the end of it, and hopefully you identify some things. You can fix one step at a time. If it's health, I will help you with any spoke. I'm passionate about every single thing in this book, whether it's parenting or marriage or finances or physical or spiritual. I love all of these conversations, all of them. So that is today's chapter. We're going to end. If I had to give you an action and you actually did it, I would say draw out a wheel, put the spokes, rate yourself above each spoke 1 through 10, 10 being like, this is going great, 1 being like, eek, I need to work on this, and just have an understanding of where you're at so that we know where to move forward. That's it. So I hope you have an incredible day. Thank you for tuning in. As always, you can go to ketomomsecrets.com to get recipes and tips and tricks and ideas to help you with your health spoke. You can watch my stories just to help you on your journey anywhere in life. I usually share a lot of things about homeschooling and parenting and just life. Or send me a message, and I would love to connect with you. So I hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.